Hey everybody, once again I'm back. I told you that I would come back for you guys. Welcome to all the recoveries, all the beginning recoveries, all the long time recoveries. Welcome to my page for recovering addicts. Any type of addict, any addiction, this is the page for us, okay? Now, first I want you guys, before we start this video, make sure that you like and subscribe to my page so you can get all of the updates. A lot of people say hit the bell or something like that. Like, I guess that makes it easier to find or something like that. So hit the bell, like and subscribe. And today is not gonna be the actual series yet. This video right now is the first video, and we're gonna actually just break down what is an addiction, okay? And uh like I said, I appreciate always appreciate any comments, any feedback, anything that you guys have to say. I definitely appreciate it. So go ahead and feel free. So if there's something any questions that you have, any suggestions that you have, any opinions, any thoughts, go ahead and leave them down there for me. And like I said, we're building a community together. We're building it from the ground up, okay? So this is the first video. We're gonna break down the word addiction, okay? Now, first off, the actual definition of addiction. Addiction is a chronic dysfunction, a chronic dysfunction of the brain system that involves reward, motivation, and memory. And that kind of threw me off a little bit when I read that definition, because I was like, a dysfunction in the brain system, looking for reward, motivation, and memory. But it's saying that when an addiction, no matter to what it is, your reward that your brain is looking for is whatever you're addicted to. That is the reward once you get it. And the motivation is people will do anything. Like if you're really, really addicted to something, people will do anything to get it. So there's the motivation part. Then also the memory, your cells, your body, your mind, it all goes inside your memory. So the reward, the motivation, and the memory, it all makes sense. You're looking for that, like what we call it, a fix. Everybody's looking for their fix. That is what an addiction is. You're looking for that fix, okay? Now, off of that, just touching off of that, the reward, motivation, and memory, I wrote down some notes, okay? It's about the way that your body craves. That was the word I was looking for. It's how your body craves a substance or a behavior. Like I said, addiction does not have to just only be a substance, a drug, or something physical. It can be a mindset. You can be addicted to, like some people addicted to gambling. Some people can be addicted to lying. Some people can be addicted to stealing. Some people can be addicted to fighting. It does not have to be something tangible or a drug or something like that. So anyone that, if you do have an addiction and you have people that, may make fun of you or talk down or bad about you, most likely they're dealing with something in their life that they're addicted to, but they're just using your thing because either they can see your addiction, and they can see it, and there might be mental, theirs might be behavioral addictions, yours might be a physical addiction, but either way it's still an addiction. So if people are trying to make fun of you or anything like that, don't worry about that. Like I said, we're going to get through this together. We're going to work together. We're going to support each other. We're going to get through it. Okay? Now, that craving for that substance or that behavior, you know it is addiction, especially if it causes a compulsive or an obsessive pursuit of that reward over the lack of concern of consequences. So if you're sitting at home and you get those urges. Sometimes people get anxious. I'm gonna try not to smoke cigarettes on here because I might have listeners that are addicted to cigarettes or something. I don't want to be any trigger or anything like that. So I'm trying to not smoke cigarettes on here. My addiction was alcohol. I don't know anybody down there that has addiction with alcohol. You can go ahead and write in the comments. You can, actually guys can write down whatever your addiction is in the comments. Okay. Um, yeah. So that if it gives you a urge, a compulsive or obsessive, compulsive or possessive, a compulsive or an obsessive pursuit of that reward and lack of concern over the consequences. Like no matter what, I'm getting my stuff, you know? And I know a lot of you guys probably felt that way before, you know, like you want your stuff, you're gonna get it, you know. No, you, you know, like like some people may be, like say, like mine's the alcohol, right? Or like somebody's might be crack, or somebody's might be mm, I don't want to say this. Some people's might be stealing, you know, like I was saying, any different type. I'm just using any type of example, but like an overwhelming feeling comes over them, and they'll go through like they just looking around like, how can I get this? How can I get this? And they'll find any way to try to get it, no matter if they hurt someone, you know, if they hurt themselves, if they get in trouble during the process, you know, forget about all of that, you know, just to go and get their rewards and get that fix, like we were saying. So that's another sign that you know that the addiction problem is getting out of hand. And we're going to talk about as well as triggers. Triggers are things that once we do, we're going to start going day by day pretty soon on this series. We're going day one, day two, day three, like that. And we're going to go step by step. I'm going to tell you what I went through each day for my recovery, and I want you guys to share on your day by day how you feel on your recovery. So anybody comes to the page, no matter what you're dealing with, like you can list off what you're dealing with, and then you can list off what day of your recovery you're in, and like that, and you can write down how you're feeling during that day of your recovery. Okay, so triggers are things that could like because it's a dysfunction in your brain system, correct. So if it's a dysfunction in your brain system, is when something, like say if you get upset or you get sad or you get mad or you get frustrated or you get you know, just a bad situation, or you just don't understand something, that could be a trigger, and it'll make you're like, you know what, throw your hands up in the air, like I'm just about to go get it, like I'm about to just go get whatever my addiction is. I'm about to just go get it, like just throw everything out the window, that I'm just gonna go get it, you know, because you triggered. And that's one of the hard things that for recoveries, that's what we're gonna call our team. Our team is the recoveries. The recoveries, like RECOVEREES, the recoveries, like that. So that's gonna be a hard thing for the recoveries, is that the triggers. You know, it could be a person that trigger you. You know, it can be a noise, or it could be a commercial. It's so many different things, but that's why we really have to work on your mental. You have to work on your mental. And you also have to work on your inner strength. I don't know like if you're religious or if you're spiritual, if you believe in higher power, anything like that. But you have to do personal development within yourself in order to balance those triggers that come. You have to be able to identify, like, hey, this is triggering me. Like, it's a red light, beep, beep, beep. This is triggering me. Let's do something else. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So, and that's good. That's the trigger part. You know, some people that are experiencing severe addictions, even mild or moderate addictions, some of the things that they experience, you know, they might be, not might be, like, you're gonna be like unable to stay away from your substance or stop an addictive behavior. Some people, like, there's no way, like, they can't stop it, like, and with me, how I believe is, you know, how we think, we attract, you know, what we think, you know. So if you're thinking about your addiction or whatever it is, like, it's gonna appear somewhere or in some shape or form, you know, and it's gonna be around you all the time. Like, I used to think that, like, okay, if you recover, like, some people stop this addiction, some people stop this addiction, and you think it just goes away, but it does not go away. Like, it stays there. But all you it have to do is continue to fight and fight and fight and fight. But what it actually does is it makes you stronger. It makes you stronger mentally, and it helps you with outside. It helps you with outside circumstances as well. And while it's actually making you stronger, the longer and longer that you fight it off, and eventually you'll be able to walk right in front of your addiction and walk away from it. Like, I was just using an analogy earlier, was like, if I give you like a piece of candy or something, and, like, yeah, you like candy or whatever, I gave you some Skittles, like, you might throw it on the dresser and, like, yeah, I'll eat those later, you know. But if you're addicted to crack, and then I throw that on the table, like, you're not gonna be able to just walk away, you know, like that. Or heroin, or if, like I said, if you're addicted to sex or something, like, I just throw a prostitute in front of you or something like that while you're craving it and everything. You know, that's the difference. How you know, like, if you can put something down, walk away, and not really worry about it like that, then it's cool. Or like those Skittles, if somebody like, hey man, can you share some of those Skittles with me? You're like, yeah man, sure. Like, just pour some in your friend's hand or whatever like that. But say you're on your last bit of weed, right? You're addicted to weed or something like that. And you're like, hey man, can you share me some of those? Like, can you share some of that with me? You're like, man, no, man, this all I got, man, this all I got, you know? Like, and you see, that's how you can tell it's the addiction, you know? They might display a lack of self-control, you know, in other words, like I was saying, like, when you flip out with the triggers and stuff like that, people will notice that. They're like, you don't act like that when you don't act like that when you're in your normal state of mind, you know? Like, you don't act like that. So people can see it and people can notice it, because people would tell me all the time, and I was just like, man, y'all just saying that, like, y'all just saying that because y'all don't want me to live my life or something like that. I always say something to try to defend myself like that, you know? But that it really is, it was just like a defense mechanism for myself so I can continue with my addiction, right? So make sure you catch on to that if you're not just blocking people off because you want your addiction so bad, okay? And also the denial of the addiction, like I was saying, like, you hear some people say, um, man, I'm not addicted. Man, I can stop whenever I want. I can stop whenever I want. Okay, well then stop right now. You're like, no, I'm not stopping because you told me to. I don't want to stop. Okay, well, 2 years later, you still doing it. Like, hey, are you gonna stop yet? No, I don't want to stop. I don't want to, and then like eventually, it's been like 15 years. You still ain't stopped. You know, it's still, you know, that's addiction. That's denial of the addiction. That's like supreme denial of the addiction. And you have to be honest with yourself. Like you know if you have an addiction or not. Like because what I'm saying to you, if you watching this far, then you know if what I'm saying to you is real. Because if you are addicted to something or you have an addictive behavior disorder or something like that, like I was saying with the lying or the cheating or the stealing or the just the behaviorals, you know, or the physicals, you know if you're addicted to something. And you have to be honest with yourself to even make the first step. And the first step is like maybe the hardest. I think the first step may be the hardest, like to actually choose and be like, yes, I'm going to better myself and I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop this. Like nobody else in this whole entire planet can stop this but me. So you have to literally dig deep inside yourself if you really want to beat this addiction. But like I said, this is why we're a team, and we're gonna have family here, all in the comments, all in the sections. We're gonna have lots of people, okay, and it's coming. More and more videos coming. It's gonna keep building and building. I need y'all to share these videos when you see them. Share them, share them, share them, share them. Post them everywhere so we get the message out, okay? This is for recovering addicts, recovering everything, okay? Um, People experiencing addiction, sometimes they have an increased desire for the substance or a behavioral lack in emotional response. Okay, they have increased desire for the substance or behavioral lack in emotional response. Okay, so say like if you haven't had your stuff, say you're on your recovery. We're gonna get to this in the next video, but I'm just gonna say a little piece. Say if you don't have your addiction for a couple days or so, like people might come around, you're just like, oh man, you know, like slugging around, like you're not smiling, like you just, like in a bad mood, you know, like yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Like even if somebody bring like your favorite TV show comes on, like they play your favorite song or something like that. It's just like, oh, there's people trying to cheer you up, like, come on, man, let's cheer up, man, you know. And you're just like, oh man, I can't. You know, that's because you need that fix. Okay. Now, this video right here, like I said, this was just a breakdown of what is addiction. We talked about the denial of the addiction. We talked about the triggers. We talked about different types of addictions. We talked about the community that we're going to be building together. So make sure if you see someone else commenting on there, you guys can reply and talk to each other as well. You can always message me directly. And I'll always respond to my comments. I'll try to, once we get bigger and bigger, I don't know like how it really works. Like I never had like a whole bunch of people or nothing like that. But I feel like this is gonna become that. So I'm gonna always the ones that are coming first right there, you'll always be able to get a response from me. And on my next video, we're gonna start off on the actual series, okay? We're gonna start on the actual series. We're gonna go day by day on the road to recovery. Okay, we're gonna start with day one. And day one, we're gonna talk about how I felt the first day. Then we're gonna talk about some of the symptoms I was feeling, some of the thoughts I was having. You know, we're gonna talk about how long you've been addicted to something, and how have I ever tried to deal with it or anything like that. We're gonna talk about a lot, okay? And we're gonna be back very soon. It's Martinez McNeil. This is the Road to Recovery, okay? Video. This title is What is an Addiction? for all recovering addicts. Bless you. Thank you for watching this video, and I will be back very soon. Thank you. Bye.